Good day, students. My name is Odufeso Tajudeen. You are welcome to Odufeso online class. I'm your economics teacher. Now, let's continue with we are still under business organization. Remember that we have discussed some business organization. We have discussed some types of business organization. Under the types, we have discussed sole proprietorship, partnership, and this is another types of business organization, which is joint stock company. At the end of this class, students, you should be able to define joint stock companies. You should be able to enumerate types of joint stock company. You should be able to define private limited liability companies. You should be able to define public liability companies. You should be able to tell me some of the features or characteristics of public and private limited companies. Now let's start now. What is joint stock companies? The joint stock companies is also known as limited liability companies. What did I say? Limited liability companies. Good. Now let us now explain. It is a legal entity recognized as a legal person or business entity that is separated from its owner and has rights and duty of its own. It can be public, it can be limited. As you can see, PLC and limited companies. Now, this is a typical example of joint stock companies that we are talking about. It is a legal entity where people can, engage in, where people can start business on their own. They can join hands together, you know, either for the public or for the privates. The chart is actually talking about what we call joint stock companies. Now, the activities of joint stock companies are operated in two documents, namely the Article of Association and secondly, the Memorandum of Association. What is the difference between these two uh, activities that is being carried out by joint stock companies? The Articles of Association takes care of the internal relationship between the company and the members. And that one is very simple. This association, the article, is take care of the internal arrangements, the internal relationship between the company and the members. I mean, those people that come together, to establish the business, that the types of shares. Why the memorandum of association regulates the external relationship of the company, that is the names and the address of the company. So this is the difference between the two activities that joint stock companies operated. Now let's move to the features of a joint stock company. Pro- uh, Features, or we can call it characteristic. Profit a share on the basis of shareholding. Profits made in the joint stock companies are shared equally to the people or to the owners of the business. The shares of the members are transferable. They can decide to share their shares, their monies, from one members to another. Another characteristic of joint stock company is are not democratic. They are not democratic. More shares, more votes. It is not about coming together, take decision. No, 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 no. No. More shares, more vote. The more you have the shares, the more you get your money. Mainly set up to maximize profits. These types of company business organization is mainly set up to maximize what? Profits. The profit of the just stock companies are taxed. Yes, are taxed by government. The shareholders enjoy the limited liability. They enjoy the limited what? Liability. These are the features or characteristic of a joint stock companies. Now let's move to the types of joint stock companies. Basically, we have two types of joint. stock company, which are private limited company, private limited company, sorry, private liability company. What did I say, student? Private liability company. Then the second one is public limited company. What did I say? Public limited companies. These are the two types of joint stock companies. Now let's take it one by one. Now, look at the examples. This chart is actually talking about types of joint stock company, where we have private limited company, we also have public limited company. As you can see the chart is telling us those people that can be under private limited company. This is just two, while the public there are more than two. So he's talking about joint stock companies, types of joint stock company, which is private limited company and public limited company. Now let's take it. What is private limited companies? A private limited company is set up by 2 to 50 person. Take note to students. It's this type of company is set up by 2 to 50 person. You can see that in your objective. Take note and jot it down. The set of people that can establish private limited company, there is in between 2 to 50 person who buy shares in the company. It is a limited liability companies. That this means that the debt responsibility is limited to capital invested into the business in the event of a collapse or liquidations or death or anybody. So this is what we call by private limited companies. As you can see on the chart, it is just 2 to 50. Now, let's move to the characteristic of private limited companies. Membership range is in between 2 to 50. Take note, students. Shares cannot be quoted in stock exchange market. Shares cannot be transferred without the consent of the other shareholders. They must come together. The shareholders must come together and agree before they can transfer any of their shares. The account is not made public. It is because it is private. It is not made public. It is not made what? Public. Then employees cannot easily buy shares in private limited companies. These are the features of a private limited company. Now let's move to the public limited companies now. The public limited company is set up when the capital required is so huge that it cannot just be raised through private issue. It is a public. A public limited company has at least 7 members. You can have at least 7 members. 7 members. Take note, student. Features of public limited companies. Membership range between seven to infinity. The minimum member they can have is 7, while maximum is more than 50. It can be 100, it can be 1 million. It is infinity. It's infinity. Its shares can be quoted on the stock exchange market. Shareholder in a public limited company can easily be transferred. By now, you should take note the differences between the public limited company and private limited company. Take note those you can get the differences through their characteristic or their features. As you can see the chart explaining more on public limited companies. I hope you understand the topic, students. By now, can you define what is joint stock company? Can you enumerate types of joint stock companies? What is private limited liability companies? What is public limited liability companies and its features? Can you tell me the features of private limited companies? Can you differentiate between the two? Oh, beautiful student. If that should be the case, take this as an assignment. State the merits, that is, the advantages and disadvantages of public limited companies. Differentiate between public and private limited company. You can do that in tabular form, and it's very simple. It's very, very simple. It's very simple. So you can do that at the back of your note or you do it uh, uh, do it inside your WhatsApp and send it to me on my WhatsApp number. Thank you, student, and God bless you.